Good morning, everyone. My name is Melvin Gilchrist. For this assignment, I have selected the New York Times Company versus Alberto Gonzalez. This case was in light of Brausenberg versus Hayes, 1972. Brausenberg was granted refusal to disclose the names of drug dealers he interviewed concerning the sales and use of marijuana. The subpoena was quashed. However, he was required to answer any questions of crimes he actually bore witness to. Now let's do a quick rundown of our case. After the Twin Towers fell September 11, 2001, the U.S. government created a plan to seize the assets of two Islamic charities, the Global Relief Foundation and the Holy Land Foundation. Both were on the list of suspects funding bin Laden and Al Qaeda in the threat of Islamic terrorism. Philip Shannon and Judith Miller, authors from New York Times, learned of the government's list and called to Global Relief Foundation and Holy Land Foundation to let them know. When the government sent agents, Global Relief Foundation and Holy Land Foundation expected their arrival and they didn't find anything to seize. When the government found out that New York Times knew of their plan, they went on a mass investigation to locate the leak in their department. The government issued requests to interview the reporters, but they refused to cooperate. New York Times believed the government wasn't going to stop fishing for information. They filed a complaint pleading their First Amendment right, reporter's privilege. Let's talk about the facts. Gonzalez wanted to know how the reporters found out about their plan. He argued that the reporters' call endangered the agents and allowed their targets to minimize the effect of their search. They sought cooperation from New York Times and seek to recover their phone records from them or their telephone service providers. New York Times didn't back down from the government's threats and refused to give up the identity of their sources. New York Times sought judicial relief to discuss the actions the government has taken to recover the records and justify their constitutional right as journalists to maintain confidentiality of their confidentiality of their sources. The issue: where a professional journalist has gathered or received information or documents in his or her professional news gathering capacity, when can that journalist be compelled to provide such information or documents to a party to a civil or criminal lawsuit or to government investigators? What is reporter's privilege? A reporter's privilege is a reporter's right not to reveal sources or materials in court. In this case, reporter's privilege permitted courts to quash or throw out complaints ordering witnesses to provide evidence. The reporters argued that turning over their phone records would give the government access to all of the reporters' sources. The judge claimed the government did not have enough evidence to reverse their First Amendment. Because the reporters did not witness a crime being committed, they were validated by law not to release confidential information. The case moved to dismiss as New York Times had adequate reason under federal rule that permitted the court to quash the case. Opinion: it's an honor for journalists to protect their rights to report. The laws are set in place as it balances global receiving of quality information. Question: do you believe the government was being aggressive? Question number 2: would you sit in jail waiting to testify for your rights to report, or cooperate with government officials attempting to stop terrorism? Thank you all. My name is Melvin Gilchrist, and that was my Make Your Case presentation.